It's been wrong in the past, even at those levels, but I do think it's a sure thing this time.
And I finally had a sure thing.
The stock market was a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing.
Sure thing.
It wasn't a sure thing.
It's a sure thing.
Amen.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
Sure thing. Sure thing.
I don't think it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Not a sure thing. Sure thing.
Must be a sure thing, but I don't think it's a sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Sure thing.
Nature, everybody wants to rule the...
Oh, mate. We're really fucking shelling peas. I'm in a bad mood now. Because
Man, you said that you were not emotional. You said you were unemotional.
Yeah, but I am now because I'm pissed off about TG6,
That's what I
dude.
mean. You said you were unemotional and you had made a decision, a logical decision for the trade.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is it's starting to annoy the fuck out of me because I'm recording this dud podcast when I could just be basically I could make more than the dumb podcasts ever make. Just monitoring this. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm in there just recording about Matthew Perry.
No.
And I'm like, Matthew
Wolfie.
Perry sauce.
You decided to not make that trade because you didn't like the cap.
I know, but what I'm saying to you is instead of trading and actually just getting a house and finally getting
But you wouldn't have, man, because if you had, you would have been trading emotionally, which is incorrect.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is my focus should really be about getting that air-conditioned vault with the blinds drawn.
I
where
know
I can
what
eat
you're saying.
hamburgers and be away from the snake that is society.
Man, the snake is inside you, brother.
But instead I'm in there recording stuff and going, the Matthew Fiddlers or whatever his fucking name is, Perry Sauce from Friends, and then you know what you're going to get? Complaints. I love Chandler. It helped me get through my divorce. And I remember coming home from my job at Domino's and I used to love watching Monica and Phoebe. Smelly cat, why are you smelly? That was a good app. Smelly Cat was a great app. When she sung that, and she was a great character. And you know what? I'll go and say that there were some good characters on Friends.
Dude, I enjoyed Friends. It was.
Oh, did you?
It was around when I was a kid, though. You know.
You love it. You love low hanging fruit. That's what you love. You love jokes being spoon fed. Do you know pigs also like apples? They like to be hand fed apples. Pigs.
I would have been between ages like 7 and like 15.
Well, why aren't they honest? The only thing I say, and sorry to repeat on it, at least just be honest. All those 5 would have been living in a share house and they all would have been Deliveroo drivers. None of them have jobs. They're unemployable. Phoebe would be homeless. Chandler would be homeless. Joey maybe he's like...
No, Chandler had a decent job. He was an office guy at a huge company.
Well, you know what? I'm not trusting Chandler with his stupid personality with money. What, you want him in the meeting with his zany personality? The only guy that might have had a job was Joey because he's the utility handyman in the building and they would have had a little storage area.
Dude, he was a soap opera star on Days of Our Lives.
Oh, I never knew that. I forgot that. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, he was an actor. And then Ross was a paleontologist.
Which we know pays fuck all.
No, dude, that's Jurassic Park, man. That's Epstein Island.
Yeah,
he would have been employed on Epstein Island, chasing the girls around, trying to get him back in the box.
That's government funded. No one cares about fucking bones, dude, except for dogs. No one gives a fuck about a bone.
Big Dog is funding paleontology.
Okay, well, can I ask?
Dude, that's a pretty good idea, man. You have a very rich dog who's funding archaeological digs for giant dinosaur bones.
It was one of those ladies that died and gave her inheritance to the dog. Do you know one of those billionaires? And then whoever's managing the estate goes, well, we can't think of anything better than digging up the world's biggest bone for the billionaire.
You have one of those huge pits where it's all like it's all taped off, and you just have a dog sitting on the edge excitedly watching as they dust away a giant bone for him to eat.
Isn't it sad to think that there are dogs and cats richer than anything most people could imagine, that inherited money from a psychopath billionaire who just gave it to their Fluffy, and Fluffy is worth 100 mil. There's thousands of dogs that basically are worth $100 million, and that's why you realize money is an absolute fucking farce. There's a cat out there richer than everyone you know. There's a cat that gets given milk in a saucer, and the person said, you know what, I'd rather give it to a cat than a Somalian.
I think that's good, man. I think that's a good method of wealth redistribution.
Do you know that happened? I told you about that family friend that committed suicide out of spite. She part-owned the house and she gave it to the dog. So the mum sort of like now owns half a house with a dog, and the animal shelter agreed that she can live there until the end of her days, but then it's getting sold out and it's going to be given to the animal refuge or whatever.
What happens when the dog dies? Doesn't it then all go to the mum?
Well, I think it goes into, I think the dog went to the animal refuge or some shit.
Okay, right. So it wasn't just specifically the dog. It was like the dog care of.
They had a joint house, and it's such a spiteful thing to do. Your mum who brought you in this world, and just go, nah, I reckon an animal shelter can own half of this asset. Like if you just left it unsaid, it probably would have just been given to her, and then you end up having to negotiate with an animal refuge and saying, hey, can I just please stay in there? I know the dog owns 80% of the house, but I'll have nowhere to live. It's insane. What we're saying that like the digging up the bones, because that's what a dog would want.
Biggest bone. It would be so, man. That would be so funny. You're a paleontologist. You're like doing this. You're doing this research. You're not sure where the money's coming from,
and you're funded by a big dog.
Finally, they like let you in to see the boss. Please don't freak out. And they open the door, and it's just a dog behind a desk with a huge bone.
Dude, that is basically every comedian's script when they're writing a sitcom. Is when you meet the big boss and it's a swivel chair and it swivels around and it's a monkey with a cigar. It's a dog with a cigar. Do you know what I mean? Like every person I've spoken to that's written a script has big boss is, and it's all ripped off Seinfeld where they had the head of the New York Knicks or Yankees. That was, it was Larry David. But every single person that's written a script, the boss is an animal on a swivel chair that reveals itself. And you're like, how funny? How funny. Dude, I was trying to think, my son basically, I was driving today and he started to come up with premises at an open mic level. He was saying hacky. I was like, I've got to remember the bit. Fuck, my brain's gone so shit. But he basically, my son, 8-year-old, did the hack premise that I've heard a million times. And I was like, fuck. This is so good. He's hit hack level of comedy. Fuck, but what was it?
An 8, that's impressive, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I don't know if he overheard me. No, it must have been rehashed from me. It was the Welcome to Country. He explained.
That's so specific. That's so specific to, like, live performance.
No, he did. He said to his brother, welcome to, he said it's basically like you've stolen a toy and then years later you say, look, I'm sorry about that, but you're not getting it back. And I was like, oh, that's the hack bit that everyone does. But then I realized I must have told him it. I told him it. There's no way. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's more like you've been feeding your son hack premises, and then it's quite funny that you're doing bits, and then your kid repeats it, and you're like, man, he's a hack. Like only by externalizing the bit.
I was sitting in the car and I thought, oh, that's amazing. So like developmentally, an 8-year-old, that's about the level of most of these comedians that I'm gigging with. It's about an 8-year-old connections between two variables. Like that's the sort of standard of the Perth open mic scene. So it's about an 8-year-old reading level is most of the acts. I'm like, oh, dude, I'll tell you, this whack-a-mole, though, just watching, because you know what I've done that's affecting the pod?
What?
I now have the live streaming of the prices.
Yeah.
So while we're talking, I'm not actually thinking about what I'm saying. Like, obviously, I wanted to do a lot, rest in peace, for Chandler, a real-life Bart Simpson, but I just got distracted and I probably upset. So you actually like Friends? Ah! What fell? Did that thing fell?
Yeah, I know.
Fuck me.
I said when I was a kid, Friends was on all the time. I don't have strong negative feelings towards it. Like it was around in my childhood. I'm fine with it. There's some good early seasons.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It just shows because all the show was people hanging around an apartment.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I was 7 years old. Like it was fine. I didn't have a refined taste in comedy.
That's what frustrates me because every idea is very simple, but then like you can never pitch an idea because the idea of going to a network and saying 5 people in an apartment and occasionally they're in a cafe, they'd say, go fuck yourself. You've done no work. But you know what I mean? That is the success of most stories. So unless you've got a big star profile, I can't go to Paramount Pictures and say 5 people in a cafe. They're like, fuck off, fucking dickhead. But I do like the thought of the big friend group. I still like that premise. 50 friends. And you got 9 Joeys to pick from. And then there's basically they arrive and there's like 10 Kramers. It's so good having like an extended class and you just basically, so you audition for Kramer and there's 12 of them and then you go, you're all hired. Fuck it. We'll put you all in. Who gives a fuck? Kramer 1, Kramer 2, Kramer 9. And it's just like there's 10 Jerrys. Do you not think that's great? Where you're like, and then you can have interactions. Imagine 7 Jerrys interacting with 7 Kramers. They're all in a car. And you're like, oh my God, there's 6 Georges. Elaine, there's 10 girls getting banged and seeing who can't come first or whatever the fuck.
There's 30 seconds of screen time for each character each episode.
Oh, dude, and imagine an episode.
You really got to rip through those narratives.
The episode's the greatest when you've got Kramer ringing another Kramer, and it's all online. You're like watching, you know what? They never thought of Newman interacting with Newman. Unbelievable TV. A mailman attacking another mailman, and Kramer separating them all. Which Kramer? All the Kramers. Every Kramer runs out of their apartment. I just love the thought every floor, there's different levels, and you lose track. Which Kramer's which? Bizarro Kramer. There's Bizarro Jerry. You know they had Bizarro World? Mm-hmm. That's what you want. A sitcom. What you really want, this is what I want. The ultimate sitcom. Every sitcom, 50 characters, and they all interact. So Seinfeld crosses paths with Friends, crosses paths with Frasier, and then there's Bewitched. Bewitched is in there. You've got Happy Days, you've got Fonzie banging the jukebox with Kramer going, shut the fuck up, I can't concentrate. Which Kramer? It's George he's got a job. You're like, what the fuck? It's Home and Away. You combine everything. Every fucking character's in there. Beautiful TV. Cosby's got a job. Cosby's your doctor. Do you not think every world should cross? It's like Marvel Universe.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Why don't they make every sitcom?
Like, yeah, I agree.
Well, I'm doing my elevator pitch. So this is it. I'm in an elevator, Universal Studios. Everything. You've got Alf. You've got, and then I'm just thinking of different ideas. Fonzie. He's banging the jukebox. And the person's going, yeah, so what? You combine them all. I'm like, everybody loves Raymond.
This is essentially the premise of the second Space Jam.
Oh, yeah. Can put it all in, dude.
Yeah, man.
Every movie.
Yeah. It's
sort of like those scary movies. What were they called? Halloween. You know, those parody ones.
Scary Movie.
Scary Movie was that.
Yeah.
It was just parody nods to everything. And Entourage was sort of like that. It was like But they were hanging around Chandler, drug addict Chandler, not like TV star Chandler. So they basically did it, but like they thought it'd be funny to get the real life version.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, I guess it's doing. Larry does that throughout the whole show. You know, it's like,
and he gets the best. You know, he doesn't write a script.
It doesn't write a
Just
script.
goes
It's all
something-
improvised. It's just story beats, man. That's why it's so good. That's why it sounds so natural.
It's actually the same with Judd Apatow because I tried to do Fresh Blood, and they said, "What's the script?" And I go, "Who needs a script?"
Yeah, they would have loved that.
I said, "You just film whatever happens." And then I lied and said I had like pro people helping out that I hadn't even spoken to. And they go, "What's your script?" And I'm like, "You don't need a script, dude. You just hang in a room. Shit happens. That's the show." But I'm saying Larry got away with that. Why can't you just basically put 12 people in a cafe making continental rolls and just go, "What do you mean? We'll let it unfold." And hilarity will ensue. It's ABC, for fuck's sake. You've bombed every other show. Fucking take a chance, for fuck's sake. Your written shit sucks. Dan Illick will fucking bury any fucking script. He'll put it out of its misery. Anything he touches is pretty much tainted.
So what happened? Why do you have to move out? What's going on? What's happened?
Oh, dude, I can't do that because it's too close to home.
This is on the Patreon, man. It's fine.
No, I don't want it because you know what? No, because I've realized like not everything can be in the show.
Yeah, everything has to go into the paella.
No, mate. But anyway,
Is it bad? Have you had a little argument with your parents?
I've had a lot of people laughing at me, and then I've realized, if I own a house, then I'm not. They can't laugh at me anymore. So funny. It's that simple.
Do you think? Do you think that'll stop the derision?
I was walking around a house, and I realized I was walking when I parked here, and I was like, it's amazing to think ownership of property is basically most people's entire goal is to own a house.
I think I don't think it's the living with the parents that is like the reason that people make it or are laughing at you or thinking that things are not going well. It's the fact that living with the parents is a symptom of something not going well, and that's the thing to point to.
But what I found so funny is I parked and I saw like a 3-bed house, and I'm like, oh my God. For most people, that's their entire intent of consciousness is just to own that. That's it.
Mm.
That is all that is a life well lived. A life well lived is to acquire one of those and eventually have trick-or-treaters come and say, what street are you from? We don't live nearby. We live with Phoebe. Phoebe never bust in. Phoebe should have come into the thing and been late all the time and going, where have you been? Well, I live in fucking Jersey. It takes me 3 hours to get to the cafe. Because Phoebe had no job. Smelly Cat was not successful. So Phoebe was definitely busing into that cafe, which actually makes her creepy in a way. Because when you think about it, she didn't live nearby. So she would get a 3-hour commute to talk to Joey about his time on Days of Her Lives, which means you know that she was social elevating, saying that she's got a paleontologist friend and they meet at the Smelly Cat Cafe. But I reckon Phoebe was living with her parents and they didn't fucking put it in the script. I've actually realized my dream sitcom is The Odd Couple. It's me, a stockbroker that does comedy that lives at his parents, and all the fights and screaming.
Yeah, man.
It's Wilson. Do you know like Home Improvement? But it's a neighbor filming over the fence and you can just see us sort of throttling each other through the window. And it's like you don't really get a point of view. It's a third point of view. It's sort of over a fence and you can hear me telling the kids to steal tell everyone we live locally when we're getting the bag filled up. Say, fill the bag, you old bitch.
I assume that this has been the issue. Is there's been some kind of argument or fight with the Odd Couple.
Oh, mate, they're ongoing arguments. Like,
Are you telling me that the dream, the fantasy,
dude, I don't want to get into that.
the fantasy of the Odd Couple is not panned out?
Dude.
It's been too much odd in the couple.
Well, do you know the truth is no one's happy.
Is that what you tell them? They're like, Andrew, you need to move out. And you're like, Mum, Dad, no one's truly happy.
I said, you live in a way. No, but I think that is actually the grim reality of life. I see so many. We've spoke about it all the time, but I'm like, loveless marriages.
But happiness must come from within, man. I think you've externalized the snake, and it's not an external snake, man. It's inside.
Yeah. But
it's wrapped around your leg.
But how many people wake up and then want to go straight back to sleep again?
Yeah.
Almost everyone.
Absolutely.
How many people wake up and they're lying next to a stranger, but not just a stranger, someone they hate?
A stranger that they married.
And then it's just too much admin to get out. It's too much paperwork. They look over and go, I just can't be bothered redirecting the bills and splitting all this shit. I'll just spend more time in the shed. That's what I said. I saw a high school mate and he goes, oh, you're separated. I said, it's a fucking relief, hey? Jesus Christ, dude. His wife was right there. I said, just fucking, it's just such a relief not being angry the whole time. And then I said, and then his partner goes, oh yeah, he's angry a lot. And I said, we all are. And I said, to be honest, I don't want to be too negative. I said, if only another few years, I might have got through it. I just needed a few more just to be left longer in the shed, just to reset. Do you know, she just kept harassing. I said, I think all relationships, if you can just give them enough time in the shed, it can come good again. You come in and out of everything. You love and hate everything all at once. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, ebbs and flows, man.
It's something, you can end up loving something you hated and then vice versa.
You could be a Friends guy, you know? You could eventually you could grow to love the characters.
I just didn't like the jokes. Like, I never laughed. I don't remember laughing ever.
You said, but then why did you think the Smelly Cat episode was good?
I just remember staring at it, feeling very alone and confused, wondering why this was so popular. And I was like, this seems just like domestic living, and I don't understand why we're laughing so much because Chandler said he's spilt coffee. I'm like, I don't understand what's so amusing by this. And then, you could hear the live studio audience because Ross hasn't picked up on a signal, and I think Ross and Rachel are separating. I'm like, I don't want them to fuck. They're a bad couple. They should all fuck independent of this house. I don't think any of these people should be together. I don't want Monica. I want Monica to move. To move fucking states. Leave this nightmare. Do you know what the thing was as well? I love that it never ends. Like, this is why you realize most people are fucked. They never get sick of the cafe. They're like, oh, one more season. I was bored of the cafe the first time. I'm like, I don't want fucking people pestering you at that couch. The owner seems to know your name. You got to stop going there. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to bump into fucking Smelly Cat. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. They should move around.
A normal person would have got bored and thought, I'm sick of fucking hearing about Joey.
Yes.
Forget about it. How you doing?
There'd be like 3 seasons where they were obsessed with a particular pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
And then it would close down, and then one of them would move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we're comparing a 90s sitcom to like golden era television, like the best of the best fucking.
Yeah.
We can't do that. We must take each thing as it comes for what it is. Appreciate it for its faults and its and its positives, you know?
Well, this is true. This is true, and rest in peace, Chandler.
It'd be pretty upsetting when you bought the jacuzzi if the guy was like, and just letting you know you'll be dying in this. It'd be like, well, sorry, what, man? What are you talking about? Yeah, you'll be drowning in this jacuzzi. Oh,
dude, imagine if a company gratuitously sort of marketed it. The spa.
Yeah, like the EasyJet 5000. Matthew Perry drowned in this jacuzzi. It was so good.
The spa that took Chandler's life. So these jets are so powerful, they pinned that boy down. Jets that could pin an ex-Hollywood star to the bottom.
Dude, when you buy a jacuzzi, you think you'll get for like the first year you'll use it quite often, and then essentially from like the second or third year onwards, you're never getting in that fucking thing.
Dude,
who's getting in a jacuzzi?
Well, who wants to boil like a potato? It's like I saw in Halloween. They had the candy and someone was putting one potato in there, and they reckon kids were loving it the most to go like that crazy bitch gave us a potato.
I would have spiked that potato back through the fucking window.
Do you know what I find so funny about trick or treat now is there's no trick. Back in the day, you have a fucking BB gun that you shoot a pensioner in the face with. I'm like, the kids don't come with any eggs or equipment. You've got to have knives. You've got to slash tires. You've got to like cut their fucking mains. You cut the electricity, cut the sewage pipe, leak it out into the, you know what I mean? But you know what I was thinking is, which is the best marketing for Chandler? Is it the spa, the one that did it, or the rival company? And go, we're the spa, not the spa that killed Chandler.
I think your spa with like an image of your spa with Matthew Perry's corpse just floating around in it, and it's like a spa so good you'll never want to get out. It's perfect.
They're only a few freaks. It's like the foot spa. Do you know that foot bath? There's a lot of novelty things. Like a spa is a poor man's pool. Like no one wants that bubbly. Like to me, if you got a house and you got a spa, you're trash. Because just to install, do you know, it's like having your own spray bed. It's just it's a bullshit bowling alley, spas. These are fucked things that wear off within a few months. Like no one is getting a spa in their 40s and 50s and then 20 years later still being in the spa.
It's very weird, man. It's very weird to just buy yourself like, I'm gonna go get in the jacuzzi. Like why?
Dude, imagine telling someone at work.
I would have thought that he would have been with a person.
Yeah.
Some girl he was with came back out and he had drowned in the jacuzzi.
A spa is just a way to get sort of undressed with someone and try and make moves. It's not. Yeah. It's basically just like a fluffer to try on date night to try get people into bikinis. It's a trick.
Stinks like chlorine. It's too hot. You can't hear anything. It's too bubbly. It's loud. You hear that? It's that constant like rumble.
I've never heard someone at work going, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" "Oh, I think I'm going to spend a few hours on the spa." I'm going to get home. I'm going to hop in the spa, take the stress of the day off.
Yeah, the wife's out. The kids are gone. I'm going to fucking sit in the jacuzzi.
I just find it insane that there's housewives there that have those foot spas, and there's only a handful of humans that bought one in the 80s and still use the foot spa while they're watching Friends, howling hysterically at Smelly Cat.
I had a foot spa in the garage somewhere. It was all right for a couple of days, man. You know, you get your feet down.
Oh, dude.
It's pretty good.
Dude, it is the dumbest novelty toy.
But that's it, dude. It's a couple of days. That's all you get out of any of these things.
It's the same as like the boxing bag where you're going to get fit. And then you realize you can just wear gloves and punch a wall. Like you don't really need. You can just buy gloves and just hit anything. Like you don't really need a swinging sausage coming back and forth.
Dude, you don't need gloves, dude. Like you're not gonna hurt the bag. You're not gonna hurt the wall. Like just punch the air. It's fine.
You're actually better off to get a pair of gloves and just knocking down neighbors' mailboxes. Just punch those.
Go for a run, dude. Just like go walk, man. Get out in the open. Get some fresh air.
I had a treadmill in Nedlands, and just hearing it pounding on those Jarrah floor as I stared at a brick wall, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever bought. I could have gone and peeked over neighbours' fences, snowblowed underwear, run around like the creep I am, and instead I'm in a back thing going boom, 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 with my partner going, keep it down, Andrew. Keep it down.
You're by definition in the least used room of the house. The room that you would never go into otherwise. Because you have to keep it away from the rest of the family. It's loud.
And then you can hear the pounding, you can hear the floorboards not enjoying it versus running like a creep, like, what's that, Pied Piper through the town, luring people to follow you. It's the exact same thing. I sold it, the relief when someone takes that fucking thing away, a rowing machine, an exercise bike, and a treadmill. The happiest moment of your life is seeing some poor fucking schmuck thinking they're going to turn around their lives with that cursed thing.
It's always funny, man, when someone shows up to purchase exercise equipment secondhand from you, and they see the fat schlubby cunt that they're buying it off of, and that's when you turn around, man. Like when you rock up to buy a treadmill from someone, and some fat guy waddles out, and it's like, "Do you need any help getting it onto the back of the ute?" You're like, "Man, now that I've seen you, I know that this fucking treadmill doesn't work." That's
what you say to them. Chasing a quick fix, are you? Quick fix. As soon as you get the money, going, "Hey, let me just give you a heads up. There's no easy fucking shortcuts in this world, you fat cunt."
Yeah. If you're buying exercise equipment from someone and they aren't fucking jacked, you're an idiot. If it didn't work for them, it ain't working for you, fuckhead.
Dude, do you remember the ab roller where you inside a ball and you'd roll? Do you know the ab roller? They just had 3 of the frames and you thought that's how you got a six-pack. And the whole premise is the same way they sell potato peelers, is that it's easy. It's easy to cook. Yeah. It's easy to be skinny. And nothing's easy. You're better off to just lift up a treadmill and take it to a car, and that should be the training. Delivering.
Yeah. If you have people paying you money to help move treadmills around from house to house, that's better exercise.
Dude, but you know what actually undermines it all? I've got friends that are removalists, and they're moving treadmills and exercise bikes on a daily basis and fridges. And guess what? A lot of them are fucking obese and still fat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Even someone that's moving a 500 kilogram treadmill is still not losing calories because they're eating Jell-O at night while they go in their spa and jack off.
Anyone who's ever lifted before will tell you that it's 80% food, man. Lifting is 20% of it. The rest of it's food.
It's all food. Do you know, that's what actually depressed me on Ozempic, because I've realised basically if I have a choc milk, I'll always be fat. 1 carton, tiny carton.
Dude, you don't have a tiny carton, man. You do a litre a day at least. I've seen it.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you is, do you understand that it comes down to the marginal things? So if you go all day and you don't eat anything, but then at the end of the day, you're watching Friends, you get carried away laughing, and you have 1 slice of bread, that day's fucked.
No, it's not. That is not how it works either.
Yes, it's done.
That is not how it works. Dude, it's simple. It's simple in-out calorie counting, man. It's real simple.
No, dude, it comes down to the 100-gram deficit or surplus.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. But it's like, if you want to only drink chocolate milk, you can do that.
Yeah.
You just have to only drink the 900 mils, not the liter.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, do you understand that every day you're either 100 over or 100 below?
Yeah.
No matter what you eat. So basically what you could do is 6 days of the week you go 100 under, and then on the 7th you eat 9 billion calories. You eat like a fucking pipe of tiramisu until your anus is basically actually opened into that spa and you're just pumping it through, but you still only end up 100 up for the day. So what I'm saying to you is every day comes 100 up or 100 down. And basically because of my mental health, even if I make it the whole way, that last 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'll have 1 slice. I need a slice.
Yeah, but I'm coming from the other direction and saying that you can only drink chocolate milk if you want, as long as you just do it to a deficit and you're good.
Yeah.
You can spend all day, every day, only worrying about how much chocolate milk you're going to drink, include nothing else in your diet, and lose weight.
It doesn't make sense because I've had chocolate milk, right? And you just put it in your mouth, and then if you spit it out, you still need that intrusion. It has to be.
It has to penetrate. It has to go through.
You need a switcheroo machine. You taste milk, shake, but then what goes down is a bag of water. It swaps.
Bag of water.
So you're drinking and you're tasting it because your throat doesn't have taste buds in. So what you need to do is have a machine where you're chewing a burger and then you spit it, but then actually sawdust goes down the pipe. So you still feel the weight of what you're eating. Do you think that's clever? A switcheroo machine? And it switches so the pipe just gets sand down it. You get dirty sandbags or wet mud if it's a sludgy sort of taste. And it's a switcheroo. So you're like, because I found I will drink 2 liters and spit it out my car window, but it doesn't hit. You have to have it in the gullet. You have to have it in the tank. But it doesn't really matter what's going in the tank. The body doesn't know what went in the tank. Why can't we do a sleight of hand like you do on the road? Where they put the ball under the hat? Why can't we do a switcheroo?
Yeah.
Is this good invention?
I mean, if you can make it happen, it's sick. It's a great idea.
A trapdoor?
Did the yeah, man. That's what I don't think you should be worried about the switcheroo so much. I think you should be worried about the installation of a pipe that sucks it out from the little small intestine, like before it hits the stomach.
What you want is you still want the pipe, so it's sort of like it replaces it around down right there near the thorax. Well, I don't know what. Well, I don't want to get into biology.
I think it needs to go deeper, man. It needs to be because you need it to hit and settle, but you need it to then be removed from the stomach.
Well, it's like that Pinocchio. You should have open the cage and then you can pull out all the fucking tacos and then put in sandbags. Hey,
Sandbags? Why not a vegetable, man? But sure, yeah.
You want sandbags. It's a bit like that idea where people say if you can't digest gum for 7 years. I'm like, that's bullshit.
That is bullshit. Yeah, it goes straight through, man.
As if
it doesn't digest. It's just you just shit it out.
The idea, like my son was worried and going, can't eat gum. Nan says it gets stuck in there, and I'm like, Nan's a moron. Nan believes in God, for fuck's sake. She's a fucking idiot. She thinks there's a sky god, okay? So don't listen to that crazy mole.
Does the Ozempic suppress appetite, or does it just...
Oh, dude, you know what's amazing? Suppresses everything. I don't drink much. I don't get erections. I don't taste.
Dude, you need erections, man. Like you need a
No, you can get erections
because you need a way to get more blood out of the brain. That's why I get erections. I get erections just to move blood out of my brain, just to try and turn off a little bit.
Yeah.
You get a big boner. You move some of the blood from the troublesome brain area into anywhere else in the body. Even just opening a vein, open a vein and leak some of it out.
So you treat it like a pump, a blood pump. So you get an erection and then you squeeze it hard and squeeze the blood back around. You slam the dick in the door and get the blood flowing.
I get the erection and then I get a big clothes peg, a novelty size clothes peg. I put that on the bottom, and then I get to walk around with lower blood in the brain for a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit less blood.
I do think masturbation is the best cure to depression and anxiety.
Anxiety, I definitely agree with anxiety. I don't know about depression.
If you're very depressed, sometimes the only thing you can feel is that little cummy to Pornhub. That's the only time you actually feel alive.
Little cummy.
You know what I mean? It's like sometimes that's all you've got. Sometimes that's it. Dude, that's the only thing that keeps your heart pumping.
Doesn't it perpetuate the depression?
I don't know, man.
Like, doesn't it perpetuate the depression to jack off and then be like, that's all I've got. There's nothing else now. That's sad.
Yeah.
Anxiety, I think, is good, man. Like a support animal, or a disabled parking placard. You should be able to have a little placard that lets you jack off for anxiety wherever you are.
You should be allowed to do it ethically.
A medicinal cum. I have to do a little medicinal cum on the bus because I get nervous.
Yeah, dude. So I'm at the Smelly Cat Cafe, but I'm just jacking off in the side booth.
Yeah.
and go, oh, he must just be an anxious type. It's fine.
he's an anxious wanker.
It's tough to know, man. It's what I was saying to that Uber driver. I'm like, pain. Oh, we said it last week. Pain is the only way you get to know yourself. I said, I welcome pain gratefully because I come to know me. You can't know yourself if you're not in continual pain. Then you truly know what you are as a human. If there's no joy, there's no light, there's nothing to look forward to, and you're like, well, I definitely know I'm being my real self right now because there's nothing. Besides a few cummies to Pornhub, there's fucking nothing to look forward to. I'm purely existing in the moment. I'm like, now I know what I am, a horrible, narcissistic psycho. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, I can't believe the shares today, hey? Beautiful nothing day, except for the ones that I don't own.
Does the Ozempic, it suppresses appetite, or does it actually change how you're digesting? Or
basically what happens is it increases the whatever organ produces insulin and makes more of that.
The pancreas, yeah.
Pancreas, right? And then what they've found as a knock-on, the production of insulin and the increases of that triggers a fullness in your mind, a feeling of fullness as a side effect, because elevations in insulin, I assume, maybe is somehow linked with being satiated after you've eaten.
Yeah, like if you eat carbs or sugars, that usually spikes your insulin.
Yeah,
and then the insulin is like that, and that helps you digest.
So basically, you're tricking your brain, and then what I found is, I think that me on Ozempic is how you are normally. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty easy to be skinny, dude, when you don't fucking feel like you want to eat the fucking arsehole out of a dog all the time because you're hungry.
Yeah.
Do you know, I basically am craving the whole time, dude. I'm lying in bed. I'm eating my pillow.
I'm on large amounts of amphetamines. That's why I'm not feeling as hungry.
Yeah, but I'm saying on Ozempic, I'm not there. But my other me, not on Ozempic, is lying.
Other me, you're bisecting your personality based on whether or not you're hungry, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Fat Cunt.
You don't have cravings where you basically in the middle of the night race through to the kitchen and scoop ice cream out with your hand and shove it in your mouth like a smoker. You don't suddenly wake from a dream and say, I need to scoop half a tub into my hole. Do you know what I mean? Like, the urges were like the smoking urge, which I'm finished with, but it's the exact same, right? Smoking and eating are the same feeling that for me, where it was like basically you could be lying in bed and it eventually becomes like frantic. You sprint to the kitchen and you shovel M&Ms in, like when I went and stole those Starburst things from your house.
Yeah, which is fine, by the way. You could have you'd be like, hey man, I had some snacks. That's fine.
But I snuck in and the Harbour and I was pushing more and more and I got carried away. It was a huge bag and I eventually was like, if I have any more, I'll have to buy a replacement. That's what stopped me.
the thought of expenditure.
I thought, I'm at the point where he'll notice. I'm right on the knife edge of where he'll notice. I've got to stop.
Dude, you could have eaten the whole bag, man. That's totally fine.
I have found that though, like if you're borrowing stuff, you're better off to throw it all and it's going missing. Where they go, where's my Starburst? And you're like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Then leave
evidence. You don't want to leave any trace evidence.
What I used to do is leave one as a threat, basically. There's one left in the bag. Real country behaviour. You know what I mean? Where you blatantly told them, I'll do what I want. I own this house. You fuck.
That would be the trick, man, because I think all weight loss methods like Ozempic or fucking what is it, Dexedrine, any other amphetamines, it's all appetite suppressant based, which is not what you want. You want something that changes, like you said, like you so elegantly put.
Yeah,
the machine that turns the food into sand.
Yeah, that's what you want, a switcheroo. No, because what I'm saying, do you know though, you actually do want Ozempic. You want that impulse control because that, like a compulsive wanker, masturbator, like that urge to eat, Oh, it's overwhelming. Like, my personality is so driven by that. Like, I'll be talking, I can be driving in a car and then start thinking more and more Hungry Jack's burger, and it ramps up and it ramps up. And then it's a terror and it's a frenzy, like a serial killer. And then I'm like, and then it's like you're late for school, but you're like, suddenly you're in the drive-thru. Hurry up, give me my fucking slushy, baby. And then you have it and then you feel revolting. But I'm like, it's very much like that smoker's impulse. It's nothing to do with eating. It's this fucking heroin urge where you're just suddenly, you wake up from a deep sleep and you've got to go and gorge a handful of ice cream and shovel it into your pipe. That's not normal. And I've realized most of, like, my brother and them, they don't have where you will tell someone like, hurry up. They're telling you a story. Make it snappy. I need to go get a slushie. Do you know what I mean? You're not interrupting convo and going like, yeah, I get it, whatever. Fuck it, we'll speak soon. Your boss is giving you instructions for what you need to do for the day, and you've suddenly need a hot chocolate, so you wind it up and just guess. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I'll eat. Like, I will. I love eating, but like just regularly.
Yeah.
If I've been taking Dexies for a few days and then I stop, like if I stop taking them, maybe day 2, day 3, it becomes insanely compulsive.
Yeah.
It's like all the appetite that you've suppressed is coming back all at once.
Yeah, you get it in spades. And it's why, like, the drug addicts, because what happens is as soon as you come off speed and that impulse reattaches to food. But because you've pushed out the amplitude of it by doing heroin or speed, that it's a new frenzied level. So that's how you end up with, like, the big boys.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you've pushed that impulse to a level of insanity, like, because you're just pumping drugs in, and now it just will latch back onto you either have to exercise or it will be cheeseburgers and thick shakes.
Yeah.
Filling that gap. But once your mind learns to be like that, it's unlearnable. And that's what happened with Chandler, right? He had the highs of being on Friends, then the highs of heroin. And I'm like, no yoga or salutes to the sun are going to fucking itch that scratch. He was, you know what I mean? You're not fixing it once you've lived in that extremity.
But well, I guess what I'm saying is that like eating is good, man. It's one of the few joys.
Yeah.
There are very few joys in this life. It's a horrible, awful world.
Imagine you don't have sex or eat anymore, then there's nothing left.
Yeah. So appetite suppressed, and I don't think is a great answer.
Because most of what people are doing is just trying to improve their ability to access sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, to get better partners. Most of the idea of, like, a comedian becoming famous is just so that, you get those scenarios with most of the comics where you look at their partner and go, well, that's insane. She can't love him. That doesn't make any sense.
I think that's the initial premise until you reach an age where it switches and it becomes about food.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Don't you think that there's a...
Yeah, eventually it's all food.
It's all food or it's all something else. Like, for me, I think... that my highest priorities now
is food.
It's video games and food.
Yeah.
However I can maximize my enjoyment of those two things, everything else can fuck off.
Dude, I actually in a crazy world because my food I've dumped that. Like, I get those IKEA dude, I got to tell you, IKEA hot dogs are done.
Why? What happened? They didn't raise the price, did they?
No, two times in a row. The Chinese lady giving them had been washing up and she dried her hands on my buns. Like, so the bun was wet. And then I ate it anyway. And then, like, you know how, like, you find a fingernail in a burger? She treated it like a sponge. She had been cleaning the countertop. And then I noticed that she was using my bun to dry her hands. And then because I'm so greedy, I still ate it. And
Dude, how? What do you mean? How did she use it to dry?
Well,
her
she's
hands?
washing up. She's washing up.
I get
But
that,
then instead of
is she rubbing her hands on the bun or is she just handling them?
No, she handles them wet. But then I realized, basically, the first time it happened, I had to throw out the second hot dog, and then I went back the next time, and then basically it hit that mental barrier, you know, like when you find a toenail in Subway, it was like I just had this gag reflex, and now I get a gag when I see the IKEA sign. I get a dry wrench. I get a dry wrench, and when I think of those burgers, and I imagine that dirty dishwater like absorbed in a sponge, and I swallowed it. I literally cannot eat at IKEA anymore. I'm broken.
Oh my god!
And that was my one joy. But what I was saying to you was getting those 2 IKEA hot dogs was the only thing. That and a quick cummy to Pornhub is pretty much all that kept me alive. I've lost interest in the IKEA. All I've got left.
All you've got left is your kids, man. They're the last thing. They're the last thing tethering you to this world.
Oh, dude.
You can, man. I've never understood the IKEA hot dogs, man. They're so fucking.
What do you
nothing.
mean?
They're nothing. They're the only reason that you would eat IKEA hot dogs is because you were financially destitute. You can surely find something else to scratch that itch.
No, because it feels like such a treat because you get the experience, the Friends Cafe experience. You got to line up. You're at an event.
It is a ritual, man. Like to have to go to IKEA for your fucking $3 worth of hot dog. It's insane.
It actually feels it feels like a restaurant because you go in there, you get to line up. They give you like napkins. You got to, you know, it feels like you're getting out and about and getting on with your day. If you boiled them at home, you wouldn't have that. I feel like, wow, that's sort of like my treat. Is parking in there, and then I find it quite humorous to me that I never shop there. Like I drive to IKEA for food. It seems so good. It's so good. Like that's my restaurant.
I'm saying it's a really bad treat. Like, surely there's something else that you can replace.
No, but that's what I was saying to you. I've degraded all my treats. Like that is
no, but that's what I know what you're saying. But like, do you not have another? Is there not another food that you can replace IKEA hot dogs with? There must. be.
No. My greatest thing used to be is to go, and then what I do is I put both sausages. I pull them out of the bun, put them on the napkin, sitting on that decking. And then I put the sauce into just the bun, and then I pick them both back up off the table and put them in. And then I roll them in a circle.
You fat little fuck.
Then I roll the sausage, like spin it so that the sauce goes into the bun so I don't get my shirt messy. And then I eat them like a hot dog eating contest. I push them down my throat. I don't chew. I push with force. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, and then I'm like, God, I barely chew, dude. I virtually wet them. That wet bun is actually the way to get them down. You know what I actually need to do? Is put it under the soft drink dispensing machine and wet the bun.
Fuck, man.
And shovel it in.
Jesus, fuck.
But you know what's good? It also reminds you that you're going to be alive because you've eaten.
Why? Why not Hungry Jack's, man? You can get a Whopper. There's so many other alternatives that are not IKEA hot dogs.
I like that IKEA hot dogs is 3 Whoppers.
It's not 3. What do you mean 3 Whoppers?
Well, 2 IKEA hot dogs is equivalent to 3 visits to Hungry. No, like you can have you can go 3 times to IKEA for every 1 ratio at Hungry Jack's on the price.
Oh, okay, right. The affordability. Yeah, they are very affordable.
So you get 3 treats for your 1 treat, and that's a good ratio to
3 treats for 1 treat.
You're leveraging your treaty.
Yeah, man. It is important to maximize your ability to eat treats.
Well, what's good about IKEA? It's limitless. Like, it never has to stop because it's so cheap.
Your only limit is yourself.
But as I said, that stupid...
Or the amount of dishwater on the bun.
The fact she touched that was so disgusting. It made me realize what I'd become. It was just so vile to have that wet bread and eating in my Captiva, listening to more successful podcasts, Googling their Patreon numbers, angrily looking and just going like, fucking hell, fuck me. What are you gonna? Who do you have to fucking jack off to get a break in this land? Hey, who'd have to suck off to get a fucking biscuit? For fuck's sake. Yeah, man.
Man, I know you can find another treat. I feel like maybe you've climbed out of the hole enough, like you've made enough good trades that maybe you should. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is a sign. It's everything sort of harmoniously coming together to tell you that you need to.
I will never.
It is time for you to upgrade your quality of treat.
It was what I was saying on that app. I want to live that dogma, the dog. I'm never ever going to reattach to existence.
Yeah, that's not
even when I bought this laptop, you told me I had to get a laptop, and I lied to you, and I snuck to cash converters and got a broken shitty one.
And it's been a nightmare. It's been awful.
Think how good I feel that I never succumb to desire. I'm beyond desire.
You do succumb to desire all the time. Your desires, it's just that your desires are like, I'm going to force feed myself 2 IKEA hot dogs.
Well, this is my diet. These are my treats. IKEA hot dogs are gone now. So now what I get is those mini cartons of choc milk because I've got the small boxes. Choc Chill is the one I get.
Wait. Why the small boxes?
The 200 ml so I can get more of them. Then I can do 3 a day.
But what about why not the large 2-liter ones that you were buying when you?
Oh, because like on a Ozempic, you can't have more than a few mils of water before you feel sick.
Okay.
Like throwing up.
But are you on the Ozempic again right now, or are you still off?
Oh, dude, they had a shortage of it.
I know. Did you find more?
You know what? I've ended up finding a source, but then to catch up, I double dosed. So I've gone through that script.
Why would you double dose, man?
Because because I'm in a fight with karma, and it was like I lost 2 weeks. So I go, okay, well,
That's not how a medication like Ozempic works.
Well, who cares? So what happened is I lost.
It's so binary. It's off or on.
So what I did is just doubled my dose to catch up. It's like cramming for a test. I just double and needle from both sides.
Okay, so we've got the 200 ml boxes of chocolate milk.
For those small little kids, you know the ones that used to get in your lunchbox when you were a kid?
Yeah.
The little mini ones. Choc milk.
Yeah.
And then I buy the mini chips. That's it.
What chips?
Salt and vinegar or like chicken flavored chips. That's it.
So salt and vinegar is the flavor. The people who eat salt and vinegar, like they're fucked. Like that's a fucked personality type.
So this is what I'm living on. I'm having salt and vinegar chips and choc milks. IKEA hot dogs are gone. That's my life.
I'm saying it makes sense that you would be a salt and vinegar chip guy.
Oh, it makes total sense. And then guess what I have for dinner? I get 1 fillet steak, I beat it with my fist, and then fry it, and that's it. That's all I'm living on. That's my diet. And then I have pints.
It was better than when you were here, man. When you were here last, and I think both times you've been here, aside from the gummy bears that you apparently snuck in the night, the only thing I only saw you drink beer and choc milk.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a cute to cool down your worry, Tommy.
Dude, and cool down the worry, Tommy. Dude, and I was like, why am I feeling so bad? And I was sleeping a lot, and it's because I'm living purely on milk and and beer. Milk and honey. And I'm just fucking...
Milk, beer, and cigarettes, man.
Dude, and I've got rid of the cigarettes now. All my impulses are gone. I want to give up booze.
See, there we go. You've given up the cigarettes. Now you could afford to be someone who eats.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess what my goal is now? To quit alcohol and to pretty much just live on lamp light with choc milks and salt and vinegar chips, and that's my whole life.
Lamp light and choc milk.
I don't want to interact. The only time I'm going to interact with someone is if I accidentally bump into them at the shops. I don't want a friend group. I don't want any interaction with any human being. I want to occasionally run into someone I used to know at the shops and then just make an excuse that I'm in a rush and race off with my chips and my choc chill into the night. No drinking, no socializing, no holidays, no joy. I don't want to stand up. I'm trying to get stand up to a point where I just arrive, go on stage, and then leave.
I was looking at my Google Maps timeline with Angus last night.
Yeah,
Man, in September In September, there were like 20 days I didn't leave the house.
Dude, I love that.
I'm not exaggerating, man. I didn't leave the house between October 4 and October 10.
Dude, I am so proud of you because remember I did my thing but for the festival, I worked out that I was walking under 15 meters a day. Which basically meant that I drove, I walked to my car, picked the kids up and then drove home and went straight to the couch. And I was like, if you divided it by the days, it was Aaron Chen's joke of like the steps to the fridge and back was my life.
Yeah,
but
man.
then obviously when there gigs on, that really fucks with my steps.
That fucks with it for me too. The only times I was like, I think this month there have been like 3 occasions that I've left the house. It was not for to run a show or to go on a 15-minute drive round trip to McDonald's or to a supermarket.
Yeah. Dude, you're living, now you're learning. When I don't have my kids, my goal is to see how little I do. Just stay in the room.
It's Gumbo Gully, man. I said years ago I would happily live underground in a box.
Yeah.
And it's true, man. I would very happily do that.
Dude, life of a mole. Just, you can actually learn, once you just free yourself of desire, you can live happily just in a room with an air conditioning duct, eating cheeseburgers and watching Friends on loop.
Just on the van.
I'll be there for you. And you just got to wind it up. Do you reckon Chandler ever watched Friends?
No.
That would be my favorite. Him on heroin, him on meth, watching Friends on loop. I'll be there for you. And just like laughing at his own lines and going, I remember when I thought of that. I mean, when the writer gave me that line. Dude, I have to go. I've got to go get my kid. He's at tennis camp.
Yeah, all right. Let's go. I'll send you the thing.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love and kindness.
Thanks for everything.
Dude, by the way, you've got to tell everyone you've used a fake AI version of my voice begging for Patreon people, and I didn't say it. I was like, this sounds so fucking needy, and you used a script to make it sound like me.
And we will see. Well, maybe you said that, man. Maybe an AI version of you said what you just said then. Who knows?
It really helps us out a lot. There was words and I'm going, that sounds like a total tosspot. And then I was like, fuck, I didn't say it.
You could be AI right now.
Fuck.
What do you mean?
Anyway.
There's no proof. Prove nothing.
We'll have a better ep coming up. This one was we will improve. We've had a bad week. Imagine if every ep we just promised that there's going to be a good one coming.
We have been doing that a lot, man.
And there's a lot of excuses going, look, and how long can you keep people on the hook? It's like that boyfriend that you don't like and he goes, I'm going to get better. I'm seeing a counsellor. It's going to improve. Like, I'm just going through a lot. And you realise, then you talk to their ex partner and they're like, yeah, that was 10 years ago. He was saying the same shit. He's a bullshit artist. Get the fuck out.
Our goal is to give all of our listeners like battered woman syndrome.
To get what?
To give all of our listeners battered woman syndrome.
Oh!
All of them should be out there defending us to everyone else, defending our awful behavior until they finally take a gun to our skulls.
And they hate listening. Going, I don't know why I listen, but I just can't turn it off. I'm trapped.
Maybe it'll be better today. Maybe today it'll be better.
Dude, and it becomes that the sunk cost fallacy where they're like, they cannot admit that it's fucked because they've put so much time in so that woe betide actually acknowledging that it's a defunct podcast. It had been a waste of their life.
80 episodes now. 80 episodes of drivel.
To admit they hated it is to admit that they wasted so much time so they can't. They're all in. They're all in and they're like, nah, man, it has its moments. It's all right. It's all right. So sad.